Hey everybody, welcome to the MNR show, and I'm Malcolm. And as you understand, Ron is not here. He's doing something good for his life and his career, so we definitely got to give him applause for that. But you know what I'm saying? We definitely got Najee on the show. I've been waiting for Najee for a long time, ever since Boston went to the finals. Haven't heard from him. Hasn't been on my show for a long time. You heard him about every other. He's been on every other podcast show, like every show that we had. But when we get to the finals, Celtics get to the finals. I haven't heard from Najee, but guess what? Mr. Najee is here with the green in the back. So you know who he's going for. I wish he was going for that. But nah, bro, how you doing though?
Man, I'm doing good. Feels good to be back up here, talk some hoops. Been interesting first two games, I can say. It's been a very interesting first two games. It's a good series so far. It's very telling. Telling.
All right, so now we're definitely that's an obvious thing to talk about. The two last teams remaining, which is the Celtics and Warriors. The series is tied up right now, 1-1. We've seen Boston pull out in game one. Now we got game two, and we've seen what happened. Can you take me a perspective from what the Warriors did different from game one and game two, and how they was able to take out this game?
Yeah. So I would say let's just touch on game one. Game one was more so about Boston getting hot rather than Golden State, struggling with Boston's defense. Because I was just like, Golden State got a lot of good looks. And even then you go to this game. And at the beginning of the game, the first half, they were missing like so many layups. Like, even though they were up 2 at the half, it felt like they should have been up 10 off the quality of looks they were getting. Like, just missing layup after layup after layup. Like, that's the Rod Will effect, though, because I swear they had to be second guessing, like, where is he coming from? Where is he coming from? But then I like the way they started attacking Rod Will more. And the best thing that stood out was, one, I feel like they put the ball in Steph's hands more on offense and didn't try to overdo the motion. As soon as you get a mismatch, give him the ball, go. Anybody outside Smart was baked when he had the ball. But on defense, when they upped the ball pressure, GP2 came back, which was great. But they also put Draymond on Brown and put Clay on Horford. And which was good about that is Clay is pretty solid. He's strong enough to be decent in the post, but Horford stands at the three-point line a lot. Now you take Draymond out that Roman spot, but I can say he shut down Jaylen Brown. Like, Jaylen Brown started off hot, and I think it was a gas because after that he couldn't do nothing. He started forcing. I mean, Wiggins, he was on Tatum, and then I think the Draymond on Brown thing really started to cause like a lot of stagnant offense for Boston. And especially with the ball pressure being up, I don't think Boston is that disciplined of a team, which is why they really need a true point guard to like not fall into the ISO bait when the ball pressure is up, if you get what I'm saying. So that took them out their rhythm, and once that third quarter happened, it was a wrap.
Nah, I definitely get what you're saying, especially with the ball pressure. They was pressuring Smart. Smart did not really have a good game in all accounts, except for defensively. But definitely Jason Tatum had a bounce back game, but at the end of the day, he still had one of the worst plus minus in the game in the finals history. But and Jaylen Brown did not play good this game after he played fairly well the second game. But I think one thing that we have to understand, you said they missed a lot of 2-pointers for the Warriors. Celtics missed a lot of 2-pointers too. They shot 27% from the 2-point line, from 2-pointers, and that's a problem. You're not going to win any games, regardless how much good defense you play, Another thing was, turnovers, that's big. They had, what was it, like 9 turnovers in the first quarter. They had 8 turnovers all game last game one. And like, I was a big component on this when I was talking to Ron. I said, Ron, the Celtics will win if they just cut down the turnovers. The one thing, their defense, I really don't think nobody can consistently score on this defense. The only reason why people can score is based off Celtics turnovers. Like, if you understand, Warriors got off 29 points off 29 points. It's more than 29 points off of Celtics turnovers. 29 points. It was like almost a 23-point game.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the easy things that the Warriors are able to get them out of transition, to get them, get them in rhythm and stuff like that. The Warriors are a jump shooting team. They need the easy baskets first to be able to start taking these 3-point shots. Because in game one, you see how we was cutting all of that off. We was not giving them any chance of being able to, get turnovers out, get in transition, be able to get the easy rhythm going on. You said they missed easy shots that they could have took in game one. The reason why is because Celtics weren't turning the ball over. Celtics was playing defense. They was forcing them to overthink and stuff like that. It throws off the whole rhythm. But when game two happens and you turn the ball over early in the game in the first quarter, and the fact that, Clay didn't really show up, Jordan Poole didn't really show up till like the end of the end of the game, almost like end of like about the third quarter, fourth quarter. It shows that the Celtics really lost this game more than the Warriors won it, because at the end of the day, they could have at least still had this win without turning the ball over so high that they did, especially starting in the first. This game is the battle of adjustments. Steve Kerr did his adjustments. He put in guys like Gary Payton in to to be able to help change that. Just like you said, he put Draymond on Jalen and put Clay on Horford. I think that I have quite confidence in Ime to be able to start doing changes as far as adjusting, maybe figuring out a way to do a lot of pick and rolls. If they're going to put that Clay and they're going to put that Clay up there, do that pick and roll with Andrew Wiggins. With Andrew Wiggins guarding Jason Tatum, they pick and roll with Jason Tatum and Al Horford, so they can be able to find a mismatch or have Al Horford have just an easier lane to the basket, or be able to find a lob to Rob if they do the two big lineup. So it was just a lot of things that was going on in game two. Crazy part is I was able to come in like halftime, I was just coming from Ocean City, and I was able to like actually really look at that game in a way. And I just think that it was more Boston in the way that Boston really just turns the ball over, and the ugliness that they do it creates it gives opportunities for Warriors to be able to get set defensively, especially when they had to be stagnant offensively, and like things like that. It really irritates me, but I understand that one thing is for sure: the last time Boston has lost back-to-back was in January. The only time they lost back-to-back recently was because they didn't even use their starters in the second game. So I have quite confidence that Ime is going to do what he has to do to be able to get this lead up to 2-1. So my question is to you: how do you feel so far in this series now? I know it's 1-1. Two different changed events happened in 2 games. We're heading down to Boston in game 3. Boston's is TD Garden right now. Boston's finally get a win in Golden State. So how do you feel like this is going to go for the next 2 games?
I can say I think these next 2 games will be tough. I think
tough for the Warriors or tough for the Celtics?
Just tough for both teams. I think both teams will come out next game on edge. It's going to be a battle of adjustments. I just don't see how can I say this? A lot of Boston's issue with these turnovers are coming from dribbling the ball too much. And whether it's Tatum, Brown, Smart. And the difference between their turnovers and Golden State is Golden State turnovers are coming from passing. I would rather have a team turn the ball over a lot from passing, because at least you're trying to get somebody else the ball. But when you notice when Boston starts to turn the ball over, Smart starts to take those drunk shots. Then Brown wants to come down and force, and then Tatum comes down and force. So it's that trickling effect. It's just they need, if I was Boston, maybe move Tatum off ball some more and Smart off, and let Rob Will initiate. I mean, he's a very good passer. I mean, I get he's hurt, and that's also another key factor because he can't play a lot of. I feel like he should be able to play more minutes, but he physically is just limited right now. But let's get Rob Will some more actions. Let's get Clay in foul trouble. Let's get some easy duck-ins for Horford and stuff. I really liked how at least Tatum's been trying when he gets Steph, duck in, get the ball real quick, and go up. Now the issue, this is a big issue I've had with Tatum and Brown. Why is Klay Thompson able to contest you guys at the rim and force misses? Like, the bigs are out the paint. You have Draymond on Brown. And even when Looney's out the game, there's no reason why Klay should really be able to force misses on those guys or Wiggins. Like, Tatum's finishing has been an issue all his whole career. And even though it's getting better, you start to see the flaws in it. Like, and if you cannot finish good, because Tatum already doesn't shoot a lot of mid-range. If you cannot finish, he's going to keep struggling. And that's just going to be what it is. Because I think you're going to live with him taking and making contested jumpers. So I just need Boston to find an easier way to be more physical and impose their will. Because you're going to have to get Klay or Steph in foul trouble. But you have to be able to finish to do that and go up strong. So, I mean, I think they split, though. I do think they split. And then they go to game 5. It's looking like a 7-game series. It's really looking 7. And then once 7 hit, we don't know. Jaylen Brown could be Michael Jordan one game for all I care. Like, yeah, you don't know. Because with him, you're either going to get the really good or the really bad. Like, he really looked great at the start of Malcolm. He looked so great that first quarter. And then after that, he looked like almost the worst player on the floor.
Yeah, that's another thing too. But one thing I can probably note out is I'm not used to seeing the Celtics like this. This year, this side of the year, this new year, what the Celtics were playing was things I've seen, earlier this season when we was like 500. The way they play on offense, they turn the ball over. Marcus Smart shooting ill-advised threes. Jaylen Brown is over here. Being over here just forcing shots, you know what I'm saying? And like another thing is, if you looked, one thing big about this game, we talked about guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Let's look at the role players. Derek Wright, he scored 12 points, but he scored 11 points, but he shoot 12, 3 from 12 from the field. You know what I'm saying? Grant Williams. Al Horford just had a 26-point outing the game before. Only had like one or 3 points. So, like I gotta say, these guys have to help Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown out. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to put forth their will. The 2-point shots inside the paint, they messed up against. They did the same thing against Milwaukee. I think Boston's going to be able to switch that up. I don't know if it's more of a sight thing. I don't know. Klay down there in the middle. Come on, like I know Jaylen Brown, with all the problems that I understand, Jason Tatum had problems finishing, but I think Jason Tatum has really improved this season. Where a guy like Klay Thompson should not be worried about him. This is not a Brook Lopez. This is not. That's what. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is not Giannis Antetokounmpo, or this is not Bam Adebayo. And I think the big thing is the first game was another thing I had to say though, because the first game. I love the first game, but I was just so surprised at how many 3-pointers we shot and how many made it. When the fact is, like, we really have an open lane. We need to use the inside. We came from a series, like I was saying in the first podcast, we came from a series from Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez, where they were just sitting in the middle, forcing you to do anything. Because at the end of the day, you got 7-foot guys in Brook Lopez, and you got a guy like Giannis who couldn't reach anywhere. Then you come into Miami. Yes, Miami is not Milwaukee, but they still have the inside presence or physical presence, as in guys like PJ Tucker to a lesser extent, and a guy like Bam Adebayo, who's a perimeter guy who could be able to get on the perimeter, who can be able to be there, who could help out on the help side and stuff like that. And you still got Jimmy Butler and them guys. So I see that, and then you got the Warriors. The biggest threat that you have is really, I think, is Draymond Green as far as front court guys, the guy that's gonna be able to stick in the paint. But Draymond Green is not really going to be able to stick in the paint. And at first, what they was able to do was game 1, they was able to use the ability that Draymond Green, as far as helping. Draymond Green likes to help a lot. They use that. They use that against him by having guys like Al Horford open to 3, stuff like that. So why would they do the same thing game 2? And that's just the point. They just be so inconsistent sometimes as far as Boston, as finding what works, do it. Next game, they doing something else, And I think that's just my problem. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I'm really excited that Celtics got to the finals with all these issues that they having right now. Because I know that eventually that this is going to get better, and this is just what experience details. To be honest.
Yeah, Boston is like this. Boston is, let's say, let's play a video game. Let's say you play at Madden. They know Hail Mary works every time game one. So they're going to keep running Hail Mary game two. And then instead of adjusting game two, they're like, well, we lost, running the same thing. Now let's try to do something else. Like, bro, you got to make those adjustments mid-game. Like, if I'm Boston's coach, run what worked last time. But the minute you see that's not working, you have to adjust off rip. You have to, like, it's the Warriors. It's not the Kings. It's not the Nets. It's like you have to expect this team, especially when they have the personnel to adjust to what you're running. Like, sometimes it's sort of like if you feel like an arrogance, like we can run the same thing and it's gonna work. And it's like, bro, if you just think ahead of time, like how if I were that team, how would I stop what we just ran last game? Boom. So you expecting that. So you already got a game plan ready for them to adjust. So Ime has been pretty good. He has a good staff, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna come out with some nice adjustments. But I don't know what's in Golden State's locker room. Maybe it's Michael's secret stuff. But the third quarter Golden State Warriors is like the greatest team I've ever seen. And it's getting pretty sick because they blew the game open yesterday in the third quarter. Like, year after year after year after, bro, this has been going on since we was in high school. Like,
Bro,
literally.
what they do is crazy. I like their in-game adjustments. Like they do a very good job coming out of halftime, setting things up. One thing I do, Brad wasn't really good at that. Nah. But one thing I can say though about Ime is, yeah, Ime sometimes he come out the third quarter with an adjustment, but if he sees an adjustment, he usually makes a good in-game adjustment. I don't have to worry about Ime not making the in-game adjustments, to be honest, because we seen like last game, they made an adjustment with they coming out crazy with a 3-point shot. Ime made a couple of adjustments which carried on to the fourth quarter to help win the game. But I think that even this game, I think more of the fact that it was more of the turnovers than what Ime did as far as adjustment. And I just think that with us as the Celtics, I could see what people say about, the ball handling as far as getting a true point guard. But I have confidence in Marcus Smart. I think that this is his first year as a point guard. This is his first full year as you're the point guard. He's been being the combo the past couple of years, and this is his first year. So I understand things come with trial and error. And I think that now he's on the biggest stage. We're expecting so much from him, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that he's still learning how to be a point guard. This is like a rookie year for him as far as being a point guard, And I think that things will get better over time. I don't think that we need to find another point guard because of Marcus was not doing good for a couple games. I think that we've got to the finals for a reason. We did not get to the finals off of, just Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown heroics. We got to the finals because of team offense. Marcus Smart knowing when to go, when to stop. Sometimes, more often than not. You know what I'm saying? It's more often than not, he's known when to do it. Let's say this. He's done it at the right time because we got where we was at. So, I think that we have to continue understanding that and understand that this is going to be a growth process for the Boston Celtics. I think we had a text in the group chat about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, how they're good and bad together. I think that it can go towards sides of a point guard, Marcus Smart figuring out what he wants to do. But I think that it's the fact that they're both two-way presence. Jason Tatum is really growing his game as far offensively, as far as playmaking. I think that helps guys like Jaylen Brown to continue going off. He doesn't really have to look at Jason Tatum when he's going off to okay, let me pass the ball to him. Jason Tatum's going to feed him the ball. Jaylen Brown is not a playmaker, but I think that Jason Tatum developing that playmaking skills help things be a lot easier. But I feel people want to bring up Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown again when they're in the finals. But I think that's just how it is, man. They just want to break us up. They just want to break Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown up. Do you think they should be broken up though? Before we,
I mean, is it the ideal fit? No, but they've made it work. I think it's a way to make it work despite those two not having a perfect fit. So I'm starting to lean towards, instead of, at first I was like, break them up. Now it's like, just figure out a way to make it. If you're going to keep those two, figure out to make it work around them. So hopefully with Smart's development, bruh, it's just, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, more times than not, he's going to try to make the right decision, at least do the right. But it's just those times where he's just not so smart, and it really kills y'all. And it's like, you still have to have that fear he does it at the wrong time, and it just kills you. Because Jaylen Brown, he has the biggest difference besides Kyrie Irving and off the court IQ and on the court IQ. It's like crazy. Like, I don't know what it is on the court, but he is not that smart. But off the court, he's a genius. And then it's the reverse for Kyrie. He's a genius on the court, and then off the court, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it should be a good series. Boston needs to win one of these next two, and Golden State needs to win one of these. Neither team needs to go down 3-1, because if you go down 3-1,
this ain't the Cleveland Cavaliers we're looking at.
Yeah, but this is a great series, and shout out to the coaches, man, because the coaches need to have an argument for Finals MVP, because the Finals MVP of this series really may be the coach.
Based off the millions of adjustments that's been made, this series so far, which is good though. It's better seeing this, it's better seeing this finals than the Dallas Mavericks or the Miami Heat playing against the Warriors and stuff like that. Right. But nah, though, G, I really appreciate you coming on today, man. I appreciate you talking about the Celtics. I love the green in the back. I always love the green. Continue having the green. I know you did it for Boston, so I really appreciate it. You have anything though?
Nah, man. Shout out to Ron. Good luck to Ron.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'll definitely be back up here. Yo, don't go down 3-1. Yo, I'm gonna say let's pod that night.
I ain't gonna see. Hey, one thing I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna see me on the podcast. We down 3-1. I may need a little break. I need a little couple days break. But nah, make sure y'all follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Malcolm Ron Show. We have a lot of takes, a lot of stuff that we got going on. Make sure y'all, continue to supporting us. We definitely appreciate y'all. We got stuff coming out every week for y'all. And we have an announcement coming soon. After you've seen it, we just have our Malcolm Ron Network. We got more coming soon, so make sure y'all tune in. All right, and y'all have a good one. See y'all.